ready to go. We'll see what tomorrow, Friday and Saturday and Sunday bring. Going to be very interesting. We might have to come on live just to report some of the weather, the crazy things happening. But we'll see. I know I got to study for the book of Daniel, too, over the weekend. Lesson 3, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, worldviewtube.com. Thanks again for all your support. Worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. What a panel. Wait till that's posted tomorrow. Share that everywhere. Till next time, I'm Brandon House. May God save America. Take care.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate all of your patience, all of your support, and all of your words of encouragement in what will be month. We are live on worldviewtube.com, worldviewtube X, and a Rumble channel, also worldviewtube app, which I tell you every day. If you haven't installed it, I strongly recommend you go to your app store and install WorldviewTube app. It is for free, available for everybody, and you can turn on your notifications so you never miss the important information that WorldviewTube, especially Brandon House, 4 hours a day on air, is putting out. We are also live on X America News X account. We're live on my platforms on X, Facebook, YouTube, or Rumble, and Substack. So as always, join the conversation, hop on and share, give us a thumbs up or a like. It helps the algorithm. I do have a very special guest who's joining me all the way from Germany. You're going to love technology. So I don't want to take too much of time talk about the normal stuff I talk about. I want to bring him on so we can dive into the very important discussion many of you don't hear about. Honestly, I don't cover it much either, but it is time to do it. My guest today is Arash Hamedian, all the way, as I said, from Germany. He's a fellow Iranian, fellow freedom fighter. He's also been fighting just as strong against Islamization, and all the corruption going on, specifically in Europe. He also speaks 6 languages. The reason I say that is his information is his information. He doesn't go read some translated information in Europe. He translates it himself. Arashjan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ainasjan. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I know it's hard to match times when it's Europe, Middle East, or America, so I appreciate your flexibility. Let's dive right into it, Arashjan. For my audience, why don't you, I hate to say briefly, but we have to do certain things briefly because of timing. Give my audience a brief background of yourself, Iran, leaving Iran, your entire journey of trying to be a good person and doing it the right way, immigration, and still hitting dead ends because, well, we all know Europe prefers illegals over legals. So floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I try to be as brief as possible so we can jump to other more important subjects because I don't want to talk about myself a lot at the moment, but it could be also my story help to bring awareness for many people. So I was born in Iran. I grew up there, always under the oppression of the Islamic Republic. And I was thinking when I go out of Iran legally, then I would be free. And then they are not having control on my life and I would be free. So I did my best there to do all the legal stuff to be able to go out of Iran legally. I was accepted in the university in Greece. In Athens, the National University, I started to study theater, but before that I had to learn Greek because my study was in Greek. And then from there, I studied 7 years in Greece. I was in Paris, France, as a guest student, of course, but I stayed longer there for around 2 years. and there was also an amazing experience. But during all the years of being student, and I recognized how the lobbies of the Islamic Republic are functioning. At the beginning, I started to know the people in the theater atmosphere and art and cinema. So I saw that how they are operating and how they play with narratives. For example, immigration narratives, human rights narratives, justice, feminism, and how they instrumentalize all these narratives, and they direct all these narratives toward the West, towards against Israel, against freedom, against Western people, against Christianity. And,
wait, let me interrupt you for a second.
Sure.
Are you telling me that even outside of America and outside of Hollywood, the entertainment industry is actually weaponizing the left narrative to push against everything? Okay, just wanted to clarify that is what you're saying. Okay,
absolutely.
Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
Darkness. It's really, and then at that time I was still much younger, so and they wouldn't kill me, but they would boycott me. For example, I was not allowed to play in the plays that I wanted to do, or the projects that I wanted to do, for if I would be interested in Shakespeare or classical theaters or modern theaters, but with a modern perspective, with a real freedom. It was
so
closed because everything. Yeah, absolutely. And then they would promise that you are going to play in this big project, and it's about freedom, about human rights and stuff. And then you would understand after a year that, okay, it was all a crap, but you had spent so much time. And then at the same time, for a year, all of them, or their circles, would have known you, would have targeted you more, and would have worked on you psychologically. And so many other boycott methods, like emotionally and psychologically, which it's too much to dig in a short time. And then, unfortunately, in France, the same. In Greece is much deeper, because in Greece there are so many much more lobbies of Arabic and Islamic wars, plus the mullahs regime, and how they function, how they work. They're also manipulating the good people, good heart people, and transfer them into something against freedom. So if you talk, nobody believes you, and the bad side, who is representing you as a bad person, a racist, or something that deserve to be boycotted. So this is just horrible. Then after like 7 years of nightmare, finally I finished my studies. Even there, for my graduation, they delayed for a year. And then I wanted to study in Germany in 2015. I spoke with a big university in Munich, LMU, Ludwig Maximilian University. At that time, I wanted to do a master, but they didn't send my papers at the right time. So I lost the deadline, and then things happened. So I had to go back to Iran for a short time. Then because the Europeans, the friends of the regime, would approach me and they would tell me, "Don't you want to make a change? Why don't you go back inside Iran and make a change from inside? And we are here. We are going to help you," and things like that. And here was everything closed. So like they push you and they direct you to where they want to go. And I went there, I recognized it was all a lie, everyone left me alone, so I had only one chance to come back, to come out again. It's the first time I'm saying it publicly, and it was my graduation in Greece. So then I came out, and I said goodbye to my family. I told them I will never come back again, never ask me again to come back. I even miss you, but I cannot, you see what's going on here. So, and from there, I started openly to be active against the regime. I joined the opposition. And then, of course, as you go more open against them, more obstacles come on the way. Fake oppositions, or even the lobbies who in Europe pretend that they are the opposition. But for example, Iranian far left groups or terrorist organizations like MEK, Mujahideen Khalq, who are very active here because they have so much money and lobbies and connections. And then they come in the game, and you have to pass all these obstacles. And if you don't know them, you have to engage. If they talk about freedom, so first you are going to listen to them and to engage, and then you recognize, oh, they are also dishonest people. In the end, they are connected with Islamists, or they are connected with Jewish, anti-Semitic people, and all criminality. Then I started to work for a year in some international organizations like UNHCR, is the United Nations High Commission Refugee Agency, and Doctors Without Borders, and ICMC, like it's the International Catholic Migration Charity, and some other organizations as a translator, interpreter, and cultural mediator, because I could speak a couple of languages. And also I was during my students' time, I helped lots of projects that I was thinking they are about freedom, helping refugees, helping people in need, vulnerable people, women. And even when I was working in UN, I was thinking, now I am a person who is doing good for the world. So I was really
You thought you're making a
reading.
difference?
Exactly, because, and in the beginning, I thought I am a soldier of good, because on the paper, most of the UN charters are really nice. It has been written very nicely, defending human dignity, defending women's rights, defending, for example, we had workshops that about protecting women, and we have learned that if you see in the refugee camps that there are women who have, for example, signs on their faces, or they are afraid, or something's not okay about them, you should ask them or take action, because they might have been beaten by the Islamic man, and they are afraid to talk, and this happens a lot. And when I was reporting to my higher officers, not only my report wouldn't be sent or wouldn't be taken serious, and wouldn't be sent higher to take action against it, but they would tell me, hey, Arash, come on, go to the clubs, go enjoy your life, don't make things so complicated for yourself. And then I would say, excuse me, go to the clubs, I cannot sleep at nights, I see these people, I know that they are beating these women or those girls. Or why these NGOs who are coming into the camps in the name of human rights, why they are approaching underage girls under 15 years, they are sitting on their legs, why they are smoking weeds, what's going on? It's not normal, it's weird. I am not against love, and I am not against anything, but this is not okay. You see what's going on. And then they would write bad reports against me, that he is aggressive, he is not listening, he's not a good boy, and stuff like that. So, and then when I would continue, then after my works, harassments would start. So when I would go home, I would receive calls, or they would throw stone at the window. I would call the police. They would say, you have to prove it, and stuff like that. So then that's why I tried everything. And according to the law, I even had the right to stay in Greece, because I was already there for 7 years, more than 7 years, and I could have Greek citizenship. So I really, because this, having the passport of at that time Iranian passport, which I wouldn't call it Iranian passport, it's Islamic Republic, it created lots of problems for me, and it was disgusting for me. And I was hoping legally to get Greek citizenship, so that I could have more freedom, but they didn't give me. So, and I was really under pressure. I got out of Greece, and I searched a lot where to go, that possibly would be free and secular, and I could have some dignity and continue my life. And after a long search, I choose Netherlands, the Holland. It's a country in Western Europe, And I went there. I asked for asylum. It's a long story. I make it short, okay? In 1 minute. In Netherlands, I asked for asylum. I said everything, and I went to hell. They tortured me for 3 years under extreme, the most disgusting behaviors, systematic harassment, systematic torture, rudeness, and anything inhuman that you can imagine. After 3 years,
Hold on,
things
let's make
continued.
something. Arash, let's make something clear for my audience. When Arash says torture, he's not talking about physical torture. He's talking about psychological torture, correct? You weren't physically tortured. Psychological
much
torture.
psychological, but physical also. I was under attack many times in the camps. I was under attack, physical attack in the city of Eindhoven. I was hospitalized. And
who were the attackers, Arash? Who were the attackers?
They were some Islamists. They were speaking Arabic and Turkish, but the police wouldn't tell me. Yes,
interesting. Turkish.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
But in Netherlands, there are lots of also North Africans from Morocco or Algeria and stuff like that. And if I would say, one method that they use, when you say these groups were Arabic or Turkish, quickly they say he is anti-Arab or he is anti-Turk. And
they use the racist card.
Yeah, and then they bring the 0.1% of the secular good people from those countries, and they say, you see, such a nice, gentle, sweethearts they are. And of course, we don't. When I say that, I don't mean, I swear, I'm not generalizing. I don't say everybody are bad from those countries, because first of all, I am first of all fighting the Islamic Republic regime, and many of them are Iranian origins, even if they hate Iran because of their Islamic ideology. So if I would be a racist, I would first be racist towards them. So I'm not racist, but I'm also tired to censor myself with this fear that I would be presented as racist. So I'm saying it now. Yes, they were North Africans and they were speaking Arabic and Turkish. This is true. And there are films, for example, New York Pizza in Eindhoven, the guy who was working there filmed it, and he said he's giving it to police, but he's not going to give it to me. And police didn't give it to me. I said everything. There is a big dossier of this attack in the police of Eindhoven. Anyway, things like that happen a lot in the camps. They wouldn't let you sleep.
Hold on one second. Hold on. I want to get into some of that detail because it's important. It is important because normally, especially in America, what we hear is the other side. The poor Muslim Afghan refugee who got attacked by the non-Muslim Iranian. That's what we hear, right? So I want to get into that detail, but we got to head to our first ad break. Let's go hear from some of our sponsors. Guys, don't go anywhere. And as I said, share this episode. It is important to hear the other side. We'll be right back.
News is moving faster than ever, and so are we. Worldview Tube brings you 24/7 live stream coverage and now real-time alerts when it matters most. Once you have the Worldview Tube app installed, exit the app and navigate your way to Settings. In Settings, locate the tab labeled Notifications. Select the Notifications tab. Scroll down until you locate the Worldview Tube app icon. Select the tab, and here you can turn on and customize your notification experience for the Worldview Tube app. News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Turn on push notifications to stay informed. Every headline as it happens.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with us until now. I greatly appreciate it. And as I said at the beginning of the show, grab the app, Worldview Tube app. Again, it is for free. It is available on all app stores of all sort of devices. It does help you stay on top of news, not just news, but the truth. As you know, we're very proud over here at Worldview Tube because we bring you the truth with the receipt, eyewitnesses, testimonies, and print of 65-year-old newspapers. So go grab that app and make sure to turn on your notification. Let's get back to our guest, Arash. Arshad, I want to say something first thing, and I'm so glad that my audience is used to passion because I go passionate on many of my shows. So I appreciate your passion. They might have labeled you, radical or progressive or aggressive, but what I see in here is passion. I'm grateful for the fact that after all of that, you're still passionate, not just about yourself, but to expose the injustice that's happening. And of course, media won't cover it. So let's take back in. You're in Netherlands now. Of course, Greece, I'm not shocked. We both know a lot of Iranian refugees were aware Greece at the end of the day is in pocket of Islamic Republic. They literally allow refugees in Greece, Iranian refugees, to be kidnapped by IRGC and taken back. We have seen it. We have heard it. So I'm glad you left Greece. Now you're in Netherlands, one of the most known as peaceful countries in Europe. And we hear, as I said, from Germany, Netherlands, France, Italy, we always hear the cries of the poor Middle Eastern Muslim men who are being mistreated. But from what you're saying, you were mistreated physically, emotionally. Now, is it correct to assume for me that most of the psychological torture or abuse was coming from the immigration office for refusing you, for basically having you run around chasing your own tail without getting any results? Is that the case?
Absolutely. The thing is, I went there to ask for asylum and protection, to find peace and live in dignity. And the psychological torture plus harassments increased in the Netherlands. And when I was going to the authorities and asked for help, they would laugh at me, they would ignore me, they would behave very rudely with me. And then they would block my profile, my asylum period. They would send me far away in very far away villages. And anywhere they would send me, I would get out of the camp, the refugee camp, in the morning very early. I would search for a volunteer job with the Dutch people, anything, companies, workshops, anything. And then I would work until evening, and then I would stay as much as possible out. So I would be very tired. When I come back, I would be physically extremely tired to be able to sleep few hours despite the harassments, despite the noise. They would puff cigarettes into the whole room that I was, if it was summer, that I had to leave the windows open, or things like hundreds of things that I can say if I want to open it. And then from the other side, I also knew Dutch people were also under discrimination, and because they were angry because of the policies of the government and how they would say refugees, they would think all refugees have privileges and benefits, but it was not for all. It was only for Islamists and for the darlings of those who are working in the refugee organizations, not for everyone. I never had those privileges in my life that everyone say that, oh, all these foreigners coming, taking my works, taking out. I have worked for years voluntarily without receiving any money, just to feel that when I'm here in these countries, they are giving me something. I also have given something. And I work, then later I work, I pay taxes and stuff like that. So, and the other bad thing is, even many times so-called patriots, I don't want to generalize, I always search, but many who call themselves patriots or conservatives, they are so close, and they don't want to hear, they don't want to because we are also fighting for them, for the people, for all people. We want to have a society not only to free Iran, but also Europe will be free and safe again. The West will be free and safe again. When the children are walking outside, when the girls are walking outside, everyone walking outside, elderly people, to feel safe and to nobody harass them, nobody make fun of them, nobody harass them sexually or rape them. Yeah. So, and then it's sometimes getting very complicated because you see, you don't have any help from nowhere. you are fighting something, and even those side who is fighting the side that you are fighting, they also are ignoring you. Of course, sometimes it's also a trap from the left, because they attack you and they pretend that they are, for example, conservatives. They want you to think that it was conservatives who attacked
Okay,
you.
let me hold you there. I've heard this from few other friends in Europe. Actually, interesting enough, one of them in Netherlands, that they are the Iranians opposing the Islamic regime, and I have heard that they were harassed verbally, discriminated against, face harsh racism language from the natives who claimed to be conservatives, who claimed even some to be Christians, but then when they did the digging, they realized the person is neither a Christian nor a conservative. So there is such a campaign that in Europe, because in America we don't, to be honest, in America, they're very proud to call themselves the leftist, progressive, liberal, da-da-da-da-da. They don't pretend. Now, we do have a lot of people who claim Christianity but don't follow the ruling of Christ. But as far as the left and right, it's very clear in America. So it is true in Europe, there are those who try to pretend to smear the other side.
Yes, but many times if you are targeted, mostly they target immigrants who are secular and they are freedom fighters. Because they have to organize things, and they are very organized. They are very good at making things up and making. I have faced also racism from
here.
normal, you know, like, but it's you recognize that it was just, you know, some bunch of peasants. I mean, who, and again, I don't want to judge. But in Netherlands, like for Christmas, I wanted to go to a bar, and some villages, they didn't let me, and they were saying things and bad words. But I recognize they are just normal locals. And from the other side, when I would see the situation, I would understand them. So I just came out. It's bad. It's bad feeling, but then you recognize, you understand the feeling of the people when they see people come to their country and do bad things, and they are angry. It's normal. So you just go away. But when it's
unfortunately, Arash, first of all, we're the minority. The immigrants who come to a second country or a third country, like mine was third in America, we love the new country. We try to fight for it. We try to protect it. We do our best to assimilate, but we are the minority. Unfortunately, to the vision of natives of each country, majority are those who are destroying their country. So I agree with you. It is a very unpleasant feeling when you have to accept the fact that you may not be welcomed based on somebody else's actions, but then yes, we give them a right. Now, in my case, I would say probably because I've been very vocal and active and on camera and writing for over a decade, I've been accepted because I have proven that I'm not one of them. But we do have other Iranians in California, in New York, in DC, in Arizona, in Oregon, who do face the same, and I hear the same explanation that I can't fight them, I can't blame them. But because we're almost halfway through our show, I want us to take you now. You at some point you decided to leave Netherlands and go to Germany, correct?
Yeah, because they wouldn't give me asylum. Could I just finish the last subject?
Absolutely, go for it.
Because when you said we are the minority, but when I look at Iranians now in Europe, we are maybe 500,000 Iranian refugees in whole Europe. And if you look at the demonstrations nowadays, or you look at social media, you see a huge wave of Iranians who are the front line for fight for freedom, not only for Iran, but also against Islamism and terrorism in Europe. So there is a huge potential, especially the young generation. But if the European freedom lovers and patriots are going to understand this and use this potential, or they are going to let the left to mess it up again, because the left is monitoring everything always. They are monitoring us now, and they are always going forward quickly to not let the conservatives or freedom fighters. When I say conservatives, I don't mean it with a backward dogmatic view of someone who putting his head in the dust. I mean someone who love freedom, a modern patriot. Because if you are a patriot, you love your country, but also you love all the world, all humanity. You want all the countries to be beautiful and for the people of those countries to be free, so you can also go there everywhere in freedom, with respect, with dignity. So you understand what I mean? That's
Yes,
why there is this
conservative
huge
values
potential.
is what you're referring to.
Exactly. There is this huge potential. We are not very much minority. But the bad thing is the other side, the Islamists and the left, they are all over into the system. They have synced into the system and they are controlling everything. Is the patriots are going to let them to abuse everything and mess everything up, or because still the patriots are the majority, the people are the majority. It's just they need to decide, and if they decide, they can very easily take everything back and bring peace and order.
Well, I agree with you, and that's one of the things I address on my program plenty. Is the problem is, though, patriots across the world, patriots, conservatives, freedom lovers, we are the majority, but we are the silent majority. Most of the people, like even let's talk about Iranians in Europe or Iranians in America. Yes, right now there is a full revolution going on in Iran. Yes, during Masa Amini, we were on the streets, but on the normal circumstances of the day, even the good Iranians are quietly living their American or European life. Therefore, when you see, for example, in London, Iranians gather in front of the embassy, Islamic Republic of Iran's embassy. They try to change the flag. 13 of them get arrested. 25 of them get beat up by London police. When on the other day, when the Afghan guy tries to attack them with knife, London police stands back. So you're correct. The institutions have been infiltrated by majority of Islamist infiltration. But I agree with you. Patriots of all nations, all backgrounds, everybody needs to be more vocal. I'm not saying don't post your, dinner picture and glass of wine and cat pictures. Do that. But every other post, mention the infiltration, mention the dangers of Islamization. Right now, when we have, if you don't mind, I want to quickly go there because you brought it up. Sure. When I sit here screaming on top of my lungs that there has to be accountability for Republicans and conservatives, such as America's mayor who sits there and promotes MEK. I need my fellow Americans to back it up. I need them to plaster Rudy Giuliani's picture on their Facebook and Twitter and I don't know, any platform. Same thing with Europe. So you mentioned it. The question is, did you ever actually get involved with the European chapter of MEK yourself to realize their deception?
Not to join them, but many times, for example, in Netherlands, they tried many times to, in different phases, they send girls, they send boys, they try to be friend with you and stuff like that. And then get information to know where you go and stuff like that.
So they did try to recruit.
Yes, many. In Netherlands, they attacked me. And then they created false profiles against me because they have, first they come in a friendly way. If they cannot manipulate you, then they go violent. And they know that how to do it, it's coordinated. So at the same time, when they attack you, they are already there to make reports, so also make legal lawsuits against you and to make you the bad guy. And they did it a lot. Yeah.
When their driver drove a U-Haul truck into the crowd in LA, then they came out and say he was just standing there minding his business. Look at Iranians attacking him, which thankfully they couldn't sell it because they moved a split second late. But if you look at the video they published, you would completely buy it that this innocent man was just sitting there and a bunch of pro-Pahlavi people just started bashing his car and beating him. Yes, we've witnessed their manipulation here, but again, I don't want to rush the story, but I want to get to a few more information for our audience to know. Well, let's do this. Let's take our next ad break. When we come back, why don't we go to when you headed to Germany and your experience in Germany? Can we do that?
Sure,
You good with that? Perfect. Guys,
Yeah.
don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a moment to continue this discussion.
Life is too short to spend a single moment spinning in laundry worries. Take a load off your mind with the all-new Norwex Powerzyme laundry detergent. This natural detergent harnesses the power of enzymes and plant-based surfactants to leave fabrics fresh and clean without fillers, brighteners, synthetic fragrances, bleach, or harsh chemicals. So go ahead, have your cake and eat it too. More than ever, stressful stains have met their match. Powerzyme's fast-acting enzymes break down organic substances while natural surfactants loosen locked-in dirt and oil, removing residue, stains, and odors with ease. With 91% bio-based ingredients, this dermatologist-tested hypoallergenic formula is suitable for sensitive skin types and delivers a safe and effective clean that won't harm you or the planet's waterways. Less time spent worrying about laundry means you can focus on what truly matters. Norwex Powerzyme Laundry Detergent. Discover the power of nature and load up on confidence.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with us until now. I never thought that a specific ad would apply to my life, but I can tell you that in last month, with the amount of hours I had to work, translate, post, do a show, interviews, go on other shows, I would say if it wasn't for my Norwex products, my house would probably be a mess and I would be out of different looks for camera. Head over to cyruswellness.com. They do have 100% chemical-free product, 100%. And you end up having a healthier and happier household while saving money. And through your purchase, I receive a percentage as commission, which helps me do what I do. As you know, I don't get paid to do this. It is all with your support. cyruswellness.com. That's cyruswellness.com. Let's get right back into it. Okay, Arashjon. So you went ahead and decided to go from Netherlands to Germany. Now you arrive at Germany. What happens? And you are in Germany right now, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, between the time I come from Netherlands to Germany, a short time, some things happened for my life that I want to speak. I don't want to speak it at the moment, but later maybe I will write a book about it. Then I came to Germany and I started to ask asylum in Germany. And I always wanted to be legal. So, you know, I always went through legal procedure. And of course, you know, they are in contact with each other, the refugee organizations, and they know. So the first time they denied my asylum request because of the Dublin law. The Dublin law in Europe say that it's about immigration and asylum. It says that if you ask in one European country asylum and your asylum has been denied, then you cannot ask asylum in any other European countries. So, they knew that I had asked for asylum from the Netherlands. After 6 months, they rejected my asylum. And I had a lawyer, and I didn't have money at that time. I had paid all my money to this lawyer in Frankfurt. And he said, give me 300 more euros, and the next week I will provide working permit for you so you can start work. And then I was hoping that, you know, I gave the last penny of mine to this lawyer. And in the weekend, at 4 o'clock in the morning, like 15 police officers came to my room, and then they took me to this police van. Of course, when they saw that I am peaceful, they didn't put me in the van which had a cell. They put me in a normal van, thanks goodness. And then they brought me to the border of Netherlands, and then from there the Dutch police took me to the center in Maastricht. Then they put me in a box for a few hours. Then they interrogated me, and then they said, we are not going to give you asylum in the Netherlands. I said, what should I do? They said, do whatever you want. So I came back to Germany, and I asked for asylum again. And then again, they denied my asylum. And I did other stuff legally to be able to, first of all, stay in Germany. And my asylum would be considered and reviewed. And it took years, you know. It took years until now I'm working and paying taxes, and it's going on. So, but
Right.
it's really.
But is your asylum case an ongoing case? They haven't rejected it, so it's kind of an open.
This time now that it seems that there are some. I have heard I don't have any paper, but I have heard that it's okay now. So I'm waiting for proof. Yeah.
Arshad, I can tell you this not just because you're my fellow Iranian and a freedom fighter, but I can almost promise you that myself and all of my audience would welcome you to America in a heartbeat. We love people like you, people who are not going to bend and lie and break the law to find their own comfort. So we will keep you in our prayers as your process goes forward in Germany.
Yeah.
Yes, but I want to, of course, get to few other stuff, but I want to kind of abuse your tragic story and yours, and I want my audience to understand. We rushed through the story. This wasn't a year or two or three. This is almost more than a decade of his life.
Yeah.
Arash is only a few months younger than me. It's when you watch, even in America, when you watch these illegals hop over the border, come in, take welfare, don't work, don't pay taxes, and then complain about the systematic racism and deportation. You need to understand
they haven't seen racism.
Right? And that's the funny thing. We all know the word racism is a weapon of the left.
Exactly.
It's just like, I don't get to cry racism, but they do. Correct? I sit here and talk about my own country and they call me a racist. I'm like, I'm an Iranian. You don't get to call me a racist against Iranians. You can call me a bigot, but not a racist. It's a weapon. Now let's talk about this weapon, because again, my audience is very well informed. I'm so grateful that they're very smart. They have been watching and learning and studying for over a decade at least. But one of the things that most people don't understand is me and you. I mean, we're on camera right now talking to people. We kind of, look fine, but behind the scene, right? Behind the scene, the agony, the brokenness financially or emotionally or mentally, that goes unnoticed, because first of all, there's no reason for me and you to sit here and constantly tell people, like, my audience knows that I have 12 bounties from Islamists on my head. Fine. But what comes with that is the constant looking over your shoulder, constantly fighting the urge to give up because you're like, I can buy an extra day of life. So let's talk about the covering up. I want you to talk to my audience of the Americans in Europe under Obama orders who are to this day is still making your life hell while helping the so-called poor refugees of Islamist life better.
Well, Ainazjan, I love America. I love the United States of America and many things about it, its history, its values. And I have been also hated because of my love for America here. And every time I see an American, I get very excited and I try to approach, to say hi and, hey, are you from America? And yeah, unfortunately, most of the times they are liberal Democrats who the second sentence they start to say is hatred for President Trump and hatred for their country. And of course, for me, it's like, all my enthusiasm destroys, and then I say, okay, I know now what's coming. But, you know, I stay there politely. But yeah, and also I tried many times to approach anything American here in Germany or Europe, also in the Netherlands, always any institution, any cultural society or anything American. And when always I see it's too much anti-American, they always talk with so much hatred for America, then of course I get disappointed and I don't go there anymore. Or they are all Democrats, and then they talk with extreme aggression for president of their country or for their country. And then at the same time, they are allowed to travel to United States. They go every year 1, 2, or 3 times or more, and they come back here. And then it's just not understandable for me. And it's very sad, but I cannot also discuss because it can be, I can pay a huge price. I have paid in the past, and I know they can make a telephone call and make my life even more harsh. So I am always searching for to find anything American to learn. But thanks goodness there is internet, so I always watch programs like you guys, and yeah, you know, so many other freedom-loving programs and or documentaries, history, anything about America, and it's just inspiring. It gives hope, you know, in the world. That, and again, with respect for Germany and Europe, I love Germany too, but you know, it's like you love someone and they always ignore you, always reject you, or they put you in fake circles, like fake people that they just want to take a picture and prove that, oh, we love him. He thinks that everyone's against him. And you know that this is only for the picture. So you get disappointed. You don't go there anymore. Because why should you go somewhere that you are not really welcome? You are only welcome for taking picture. And then that picture would be used.
Well, here in America, we call it a photo op. When they gather a nice line, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy. But if you would look in the back, everybody got a knife ready to stab each other in the back. We call it a photo op. And I have seen some of those. And I just want to, I want to emphasize, just in case if by any chance my audience missed it, he cannot, for those of you who, again, take our freedoms in America for granted, he cannot name names right now because with a phone call, his life will turn upside down. Did you pick up on that? I wanted to make sure you hear that. When you're in, I know we're under a lot of pressure. I know we're fighting for our existing freedoms, but the good news is we still have, I can sit here and name anybody I want, and nobody can revoke my citizenship with a phone call because it's America.
You know, you named one of them, the big guy who is controlling all American institutions in Europe and also controlling European politics. So, yeah, this is it. And, yeah.
And that's the thing, Arshad, it's, you know, I know, I smile when you say, Arshad, I love America, because I know, because we do. We Iranians, okay, not the Islamist Iranians, not the IRGC, not the, we the Iranian people, we genuinely love America. And I want to be very clear. Yes, it is the American values. It is the lifestyle. However, one of the main reasons every Iranian anywhere in the world will tell you that we love America is because it's also rooted in our history.
Exactly.
The values, the amendments, the Constitution.
The morality,
exactly.
You know, and you know, it's very also close to ancient Iranian. You know, when the great Thomas Jefferson was inspired from Cyrus the Great to write the Constitution of the United States. So, and everything is connected to each other. So that's why it gives the individual freedom, a human being to be free. Jesus said, you are allowed to be free. God said, Amen. You are allowed to free. You are not, you should not always feel guilty about everything and shut up. So that's why this Americanism, embrace Americanism, this is the truth, and I'm not
Yes.
afraid to say it. If they want to tell me anything, this is it. It's true.
And that's the thing. You know what's amazing, Arash? Sometimes I very kindly, my audience, compliment me saying you're more American than a lot of Americans. And I'm like, it's because I had to regain my roots of freedom through America. That's why I appreciate it more. I know of the days when Iran was mini America in Middle East. During King Pahlavi, Iran was referred to as mini America. You put side by side pictures of the 50s and the 60s, you can't tell which one is America, which one is Iran. When you have to re-earn, when you come from the oppression, the detention center and the morality police and Sepah and Basiji and all of that, and you regain that closeness to your heart and roots, you appreciate it much better. And the fact that a lot of Americans aren't even aware how much the shadow government of America is even controlling Europe. It's heartbreaking.
Oh yes. It's heartbreaking also for Europe. I care about Europe. When I say constructive criticism, it's not with hate. I love this also Europe, but it's, as President Trump a few days ago in Davos said, it's horrible what is happening. And we are warning it because we have the experience. The same thing happened to us. And if they let it go, and if they stay passive or ignorant, of course it comes to them too. It should be, the streets should be unsafe for the bad guys, not for the good people. The bad guys should feel unsafe and hide themselves and collect themselves, not the good people. And that's why I am always ready for anything, to give my life. I receive daily harassments in the metro, in subway, everything, and I'm ready always to, if it goes past the red line, to defend myself, because you know that you have to defend yourself. They must understand that this place is not completely taken over by them, and still there is here the goodness is going to win. So, and unfortunately, they only understand one language, the language of power and violence. They don't understand the language of dialogue and peaceful, civilized language. So this is the truth.
That's why it's a waste of time and energy when any country decide to resolve issues with the regime of Iran through diplomacy.
Absolutely.
These people don't understand. Their diplomacy is their double-edged sword. It's their Zulfagar, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Their diplomacy. But here's the thing: we're coming to an end of our show, and I cannot wrap this up before I ask you to tell my audience and anybody who might watch this, what are your reasons? Because you are, like me, you have voted fully for Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi to be the replacement of this monstrous regime to rebuild Iran. So I want you to tell my audience, why does Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi have your vote?
Thank you for this important question, because it's very important. And I want to use this platform and your platform and opportunity to beg your audiences to listen very carefully. I was born after the Islamic Revolution. I was not lived under the Shah, so you cannot accuse me anything that I lived under the Shah and I'm related with Shah or something, okay? And the generation after me, we have not lived under the Shah. For years, we were brainwashed that the Shah was a tyrant dictator, and not only in Iran, but also in Europe, and with really horrible brainwash and oppression. And we digged into history. We tried with our soul and spirit to find what's going on. What is this? And we are not this. We Iranians, we are not this, that this regime represent us, and also not what you guys are telling us to be. Then we have found our roots, despite all the censorship, thanks to internet, thanks to documents that came out, and thanks to a few group of that old generation who hold it, the flag of freedom, to give it to us now, and we have got it now, and we are not going to let it go. We know that what has happened, and we don't want to talk about the past. Okay, whatever have passed, it's in the past. We are looking at future, and what we are saying that the crown prince, we know him, we have watched him for years, we have read his books, we are following his interviews, we know him, we believe in him, we know that he is a democratic person, we know that he believes absolutely in democracy, we trust him. And he himself said many times that I don't want power for myself, I am answering the call of the Iranian people who now they are giving their lives for him. They are dying, shouting his name. So please, I mean, not to the good people who are understanding, but to those who are still stay to their dogmatism because of their hatred for Shah, and they're always pointing the finger. When they are genociding, they are still fighting the Shah. Shah have passed away. Leave him alone. Leave him at peace. But they are still fighting the Shah because of their, excuse me, of my emotions, but it's unbelievable with so many what they are doing, or they are sticking the crown prince to the past. We are looking at future, and he say that after the liberation, first liberation of Iran, and after the liberation we are going to organize a referendum with the international observation, which I say don't trust them, but and then we are going to organize an election. Whatever people will vote, the republic, a constitutional monarchy, but not an absolute monarchy. It's not going to happen. So please, if you are good people, tell those haters that stop this and start standing with us for freedom, because it is related to your freedom. If they destroy us, they come to you. Do you remember before the World War, what happened with the Jews? First they came to these groups and that groups and that groups. This is what they do. So, and if you are going to help, what is the delay? Please start helping. Hit them. I am asking again from President Trump and United States administration, please hit them, and hit them hard. Hit them like they can never recover again. And you will see how much benefit United States are going to gain, or even Europe, who are, some of them might be worried about their economical interests. With free Iran, you are going to gain much more interests. If now the Arabic monies from Qatar and other countries are blocking you and they are warning you to not help Iranian people, it's because they are worried that the freedom would affect also their youth and their generation, and they want to hold their dictatorships. So I am begging you, my dear Americans, please know that Prince Reza Pahlavi, Crown Prince, he is a wonderful, good soul, a good person, a democratic person, friend of United States of America, friend of the West, and we are going to be wonderful friends together. Please trust us, start helping each other, but in action. Thank you all for your kind words, for solidarity words, but we need action. They are dying in the Iran. In the jails, they are gang raping women and small girls, or even men. They are gang raping couples in front of each other, and the rapers many times don't speak even Persian, they speak Arabic. They bring Arabic mercenaries in Iran because they want to break the soul of Iranian people. But the soul of Iranian people is much more stronger, and their roots is much deeper than these savages. We are going to win. We are going to overcome. But it would be with less life. Already thousands have died. There are sources that the regime sources are saying 80,000, more than 80,000 people have died in this uprising, but the media don't talk about it. And they are willing to kill even millions to stay in power, because they know if Iran will be free, they will lose their heaven, and they don't know where to go then, because it's the domino. If the Iran will be liberated, the whole Middle East will be liberated. Then they will lose their finances in Europe and America. They cannot make your universities insecure again. They cannot make your educational system insecure again. So then your new generation can be educated in a safe American atmosphere again, and then concentrate on United States or also in Europe and the West, and not be brainwashed by some savages, violent killers who are coming to the streets and they are shouting, and if you let them, they are even kill people. So this is what I want to say, and thank you very much for listening. God bless you all, and I hope that soon we all celebrate in freedom. It's a pleasure to be with you and your audiences. I hope also I stay in touch with you guys and we can talk more about subjects together.
All right, John. First of all, on my show, you never need to apologize for your passion. We deliver passion. I am grateful for the fact, as I said earlier, that you have not lost your passion for freedom, for liberty, for one world under God, with God-given rights that no one gets to crush, no one gets to take away, and no one gets to oppress. You are amazing. I want you to keep up the good fight. You know, I'm going to be in touch with you, and I'm going to make sure you come back so we can dig more into some of the information we didn't get to today. Watch your back as you keep up the good work. Watch your back. Javid Shah, Payande Bad Iran, and I can't wait to see you again.
Could I say 30 seconds something, 30 seconds? Just if I did any criticism toward Europe and the situation, I swear it's not with bad heart. I don't mistrust the whole system, and I know there are also good people. They are doing their best. Maybe sometimes they are also in difficulties. I want them to know that it's not an insult, and I'm not denying the whole system. I know even the chancellor or big guys are trying their best. They might be in difficulties, but I want to encourage them to take bold actions and to not be afraid, to know that the people are behind them if they take bold actions for freedom. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. No, thank you, Arash John. And to my lovely audience, as always, I am so grateful you stayed with us until the end of today's show. It is our last show of the week. Unless something major breaks, I won't be back until Monday. Keep Arash in your prayers. Keep all the Iranian people in your prayers. Of course, pray for me, pray for America, and pray for our administration to listen to God's words instead of earthly voices that is going on in every room, every hallway of that building. Until Monday, I want you to stay safe, stay vigilant. May God bless you. May God bless America. Goodbye, guys.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon Howse.
July 6, 2005. This is Tom Harper.